Very good morning to each and every one of you, and welcome to our broadcast this morning. We trust that you guys are good and well wherever you're joining us from today. We're privileged to be here with each and every one of you. And again, for those of you, I know we're putting through to lots of our social media networks as we begin. Those of you who are now joining us, a very, very, very good morning to each and every one of you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's another day, folks. It's Thursday. We're halfway through the month. It's the 15th day of August. Believe it or not, the kids are going to be heading back to school in very short order. We hope that you've been getting some rest in between all that has been summer 2024. And we're here with you guys yet another day, folks. We're outside. We're out front with you wonderful, fascinating, lovely people. Uncontroversial, of course. Uncontroversial. Lucille Kendall, we see you there. Lucille Kendall. Shireen Hohenkirk, we see you on the live this morning. Alfonso Mack is here too. We see Ramesh Puran is here, and we got Carlton. Carlton Smith is here. Roxanne Jonas is here as well. Folks, we're happy to have each and every one of you. What are you guys having for breakfast? We got a cup of black coffee, getting colder by the minute, but we're happy nonetheless. Claire Capel, we see you there, and Donald. We're not going to argue with everything this morning. We're not going to fret with everything this morning. V. Canzias, good to have you here. I had a Canzias that I went to school with. Fantastic fellow. Ray, first name Ray. Claire, is it family to you? Ray Canzias, fantastic fellow. Sabina Jacobs, good to see you there. And Gail and Janet, Lynn, Carl Chan. Do let us know if you're hearing us clearly this morning. That's how we want to be heard, folks. That's how we want to be heard. Carlton Smith said I came to school early today. Yep. Take front seat. Vashti Pollard, Winella Garnett, Edward Brooms is here with us. Kenrick Brazil is here too. Royston Sampson. Royston. Yep. Erwin Dong says she's having some oatmeal. Lynn Finances, loud and clear. Good to have you, Lynn. Oh, I met so many beautiful folks while I was there in Brooklyn, driving with Lynn Finance. Lynn. Kim Batson, good to see you there. And all the other wonderful folks who are on with us today. And let us ensure that we're on all of the right pages. The good things that I could do it from my end right here. Sometimes the folks are a little slow at the back part. A little slow at the back, but we can do it here too, folks. That's what you call multitasking in real time. Good to have you folks on the line. You know, I can do this morning a good pot bake. I don't know what you guys call it. But where I'm from, where we born, folks, pot bake. I can do a good pot bake this morning. How about you one? How about you guys are there? Good to have all of you on the live this morning. On the live. Would have it no other way. Good to see so many of you. If we're now going through to one of the pages that you're joining us from, do share that live for us. Smash that emoji button as well, folks. Number of things we're dealing with on a number of fronts this morning. Welcome to FYI. For your information, you know, we get a little extra on these parts. Proudly so, too. Sandra Ford, good to have you there. Oren Author, good to have you there as well. And Forbes Meduse, good to have you there, Forbes. Making a difference in the streets of Brooklyn every day. Making a difference. Yep, I got some black coffee in my cup, Forbes. Lislyn Hamilton, how you doing, Lislyn? And all the other good folks joining us today. All the other good folks. You know, last evening we were talking on that broadcast that a lot of billions being spent on a lot of things. A lot of billions being spent on a lot of things. Billions for coming out of the oil and gas sector. Billions being put to sugar. Billions being put to GPL. Billions being put to the water sector. What do we have to show for it? That's why in last evening's broadcast, Roger Rankin, we were asking the question, whether anything working in Guyana? Is anything working? Marjorie Baburam, good to have you too, Marjorie. Ryan Jones, Gil Alicock, Lyndon Gill. Anything working in this country? That's a fair question. Is the judiciary working in this country? Justice Devinder Singh, is it working for we? Fair question. You know, for those of you who may have missed some of those contributions we had last into the broadcast and oil and gas and sugar and GPL and so on. Take a look as we begin this morning. The first 15, folks. The first 15. Billions for sugar, billions for GPL. What do we have to show for it? Billions on our roads, billions to the water sector. My God.
months of April to July, them banners this take up $4.02 billion for Gaisuku. They didn't come to Parliament for it.
For the year, Gaisuku has collected almost $15 billion according to Ramjatan. Government has pumped in some $40 billion since 2020. It has been making a loss every year. A lot of money is going to rent-generating sets. Prime Minister Mark Phillips told the National Assembly on Friday that the government was paying $16 million per month to rent a set at Anna Regina. However, the government is approaching National Assembly for a further $16 billion to buy fuel for all the generating sets in the country. The sets at Garden of Eden consume a lot of fuel.
In terms of fuel, 292,358 imperial gallons, and that is a DP2. And then you have 535,184 imperial gallons at DP3. Right, in terms of generation, DP2, 22 megawatts, and DP3, 29.4 megawatts.
They reportedly have an installed capacity of 51.4 megawatts. Initially, this was reported as the current generation. The response prompted the question of whether there was any maintenance.
I'm advised that we have two gensets, one in DP2 and one in DP3, on the maintenance. What we are giving you is the install capacity, but we have one genset in each area, DP2, DP3, and maintenance.
That is why I asked him to clarify, sir, what's installed capacity and what he is producing right now.
We have the equivalent of 12.4 megawatts capacity, which is under maintenance right now.
Patterson said that he knew the installed capacity because the coalition government had bought the sets for Garden of Eden.
Having installed the power ship, and we're getting 36 megawatts from the power ship now, that has helped us to fast track and working towards get back on schedule for maintenance. 69,848 imperial gallons a month is being supplied to Bartica. Bartica remains under GPL. So we're buying fuel for Bartica. We're maintaining the engines at Bartica. The other utilities are under HECI.
The Bartica power station was down for nearly a week last week. A large sum has been allocated to the power station in Linden, and the Prime Minister described Lynn Mine as a peculiar utility.
Both sides, the bauxite mining company Linden, we have a contract where we pay them. They generate the electricity. So we pay them according to that contract. We are asking for $740,970,626 to pay both sides to generate electricity for the rest of them.
Member of Parliament Annette Ferguson noted that the government had gone to the National Assembly for money earlier in this year. And this is despite producing a budget that was some 30% larger than the previous year.
Note, early in the year, we approved 6.1 billion, and the ministry is still asking, now come back for 13 billion more. My question to the Honorable Minister is whether what you're now seeking, whether it's sufficient, it will take you to the end of the year.
Prime Minister Phillips said that the current request is based on projections. However, the government will return for even more money if there is the need. The government recently went back to the National Assembly for large sums of money for the sugar industry. When it returned to power in 2020, it had stated that it was going to reopen those sugar estates that were closed by the Granger administration. Co-founder of the Alliance for Change, Kemrat Ramjitan, recently said that the government was feeding the nation untruths when it said that it would resurrect the closed sugar estates.
We know that right sizing was the correct way to go. But they want to go and open back Rosella Estate. They want to go and open back Skeldon. They want to go and open back, I don't know how many other estates.
Ever since 2021, large sums have been poured into the Guyana Sugar Corporation.
Approximately 6 billion, I think it was 6 billion that was given as a subvention to Gaisuco this year. And in addition to now, we have got two financial papers in which a sum of 4 billion and then a sum of 2.2 billion and then an additional sum of 3.2 billion as what you call supplementary.
He said that when the budget was passed this year, Gaisuco said that it would need about $6 billion. However, Gaisuco lowered its production target.
It ended up in the very first year, which they had projected about 28,000 tons. They only made approximately 8,000 tons of sugar from all the estates, all the factories.
He said that the sugar company returned to Parliament for a further $6 billion.
And they only produce 7.9 thousand tons of sugar. But more than that, whilst they come and ask for this supplementary expenditure for Gaisuco, during the months of April to July, them banners this take out $4.02 billion for Gaisuco. They didn't come to Parliament for it.
For the year, Gaisuco has collected almost $15 billion, according to Ramjitan. Government has pumped in some $40 billion since 2020. It has been making a loss every year.
Yeah, we apologize there for the initial bad audio. 4 minutes of silence. We apologize. It's a bird, folks. It's the schoonard bird, the jumbie bird. You pick your bird. Claude McPherson is one of the birds. Yonet Etwa, John Benjamin, and Gwen Anderson is the bird. Pick a bird. Pick your bird. The first 15 billions, folks. In all these sectors. We see the education sector for teachers, their well-being and welfare, something different. So the Ministry of Education now has to go back to the drawing board because the Guyana Teachers Union, the GTU, has formally rejected the 10 point, how much ever percent. And we learned that the GTU has since said that nothing less than 20% has to be the starting point. 20%. So our program yesterday morning, you know, we've set 25 is a good place to start. But formally, the government's offer of 10.5, I think 10.5% has been rejected. You can't run. That's what's happening, folks. Billions upon billions upon billions upon billions. Finally, I think the Ministry of Natural Resources, Arvin Don, has had its first press conference here. But listen to what do you call spin? Spin. Spin bowling. Political, actually, it could be a left-hander. Political spin bowling. They said it's mid-year. It's a mid-year press conference. Now, you all know how important the Natural Resource Ministry is, giving oversight to the oil and gas sector. This is a ministry that should be given press conferences every week instead of Jack Dio running out with all that fluff and bluff. Every week, the Ministry of Natural Resources should have a press conference. See, somebody said, state of affairs, sad state of affairs, let me go. Contribute to that. So they don't want to say, it's Jack Dio had to instruct us to have this press conference like he did the other day. He said, I will tell the other Barrett I will tell Sweet Boy Vikram to have a presser. It's mid-year. Mid-year, you see. And of course, this issue of his alleged detention, the issue of his alleged detention came up, right? He said he was not interrogated at John Fitzgerald Kennedy International Airport, where he passed through quite recently. He said he wasn't interrogated. No. He said it was a courtesy that was being extended by the authorities. And of course, during this walk from the plane into whatever office there or area, he said it chatted about a couple of things. That's what he said. He wasn't interrogated. He was not detained. You know, they all say that. You remember May? I can allow him. He's entitled to his own spin bowling. You remember when May came back? Oh, they say FDA, FBI, NSA, RIP. These are routine checks. They just pick somebody randomly out of a line. Almost stumbled down the coffee. Erwin Dunn. Routine. That's what they say. Routine checks. Routine. There's nothing to worry about. Isn't that what they said, Neon Harding? Campton Reed? Campton, we big. But we got sense. We big. Mark Hicks, we big, Mark. This is routine. Not to worry about here. How long after that? Sanctions. How long after that? I hear a big businessman in Babis getting sanctioned. I saw a whole list recently. I don't have all the facts on it, so I won't call the names, but I saw this fella name on the list. And then I saw folks at HGP TV, I think it was, Travis Chase, another good place for valid and credible information, put out a statement alluding to the same businessman. And I didn't compare notes with Travis there. Big businessman in Babis. Same thing that said, nothing to worry here about with May. And then our other goal selling friends, oh, they hired a whole former FBI agent. Is I alone saw this thing, Maria Vera, Lucille Kendall, Pam Halls, Gwyneth. Is I alone see these things? A whole former FBI agent. They don't come cheap. To say that they were above board. He had done a thorough investigation. And this was at the time when even Reuters, I think, had put out a scathing criticism of their operations. This FBI former agent, Gwyneth Levigo Mercy Agard, said he had scrutinized them thoroughly. He didn't find nothing. And then along with May Toussaint Thomas, these folks were sanctioned as well. So when Vikram ran out, Sweet Boy Vikram, when Vikram ran out, I wasn't detained. It was routine. It was courtesy. I'm just happy I'm not offered these kind of courtesies. I pick up my little bag, pick up my little hand luggage, and I trot through. You see, I don't like a lot of suitcases, you know. If I could get one little carry-on, a little side piece, I good. To avoid the escortation. Sheila Boychild says, sticky fingers, me. Folks, I'm trying my coffee this morning without sugar. Y'all be happy. Big people things. Sticky fingers may. This is the same thing. Oh, it's of course, you see, nothing to worry about here. We talked about development and all of that. Look, when I go in through JFK, the most I'd get some Guyanese who work in there, recognize and say, could I have a photograph? Click, 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 click. You know, Guyanese is good for embarrass you. Could I have a photograph? And then them Americans watching you like, yeah, who's this one here now? It's a skirt, you get in a skirt? Let me see you up there. Guyanese all over the place, boy. You know? I at JFK, Guyanese man say, it's you? He said, hold on. Hold on right there. I says, escort and get escort now. Hold on. I says, questions I can ask for Guyana development. His courtesy is going to be extended now. Hold on right there. Don't move. Then I see he run back with 3 others. He said, tell you, is he? I tell you. Let me get a photograph. Click, click, clicks. I so embarrassed. True story. We were coming through one of them islands. You know, thanks Caribbean Airlines. This guy Royal Tour the Caribbean. When you want cheap airfare. The dash in Jamaica, fling you in the US Virgin Islands, fling you back in Trinidad, then bring you home. Yeah. Because you want $50, come on. You want $50, come on. Fling you all over the Caribbean. A grand tour. I don't mind once you have the time. You know? Was in transit in Jamaica. Got to sample the authentic patties. You can't call Jamaican patties in Jamaica. The authentic patties. Right there. That should. But one of them islands, BVI or somewhere, one of the flight attendants, the stewardess came on the flight when they were doing their little cleanup and so on. She said they got somebody at the back door once here. I said, huh? I said, well, look at this escortation now. Look at this discussion on gang development. Look at the courtesy now. Somebody wants to see at the back door. When I gone, you know, they pull up a step by the back of the flight. When I gone to the back, there's about 10 Guyanese there by the back door. But 10 Guyanese working on the airplane. They say one of the guys who doing the little cleanup recognized you. Could we have a photograph? But 10 Guyanese by the back. I was so embarrassed. I said, but the stewardess now going to think it's the FBI and them interviewing me here. True to God story. I was so embarrassed. I was embarrassing for 10 Guyanese by the back door. I don't know how them Guyanese working on the airport. BVI or Tortoral. One of them places. I was so embarrassed. You know, when a stewardess come and tell you people by the back door want you. Right? Shouldn't say too easy. Everybody watching me now says one guy here now is drugs he's shipping. It's drugs he's shipping here now. You know, I came back in so quiet. So embarrassed. Folks, but that's the kind of escortation you'd expect with a crime. No. He said it was common courtesies being made. Said the same thing. So let's wait and see, folks. What is the term? Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Let us give him the benefit of the doubt. This coffee is a little warm. I'm going to take it without the sugar, but it got a little warmth. The benefit of the doubt. So that's what he said. And in this once-in-a-lifetime press conference by Vikram Bharat, right? He also said that, listen to this, folks. Only in the cooperative oil producing republic, you would hear something like this. Only in the cooperative oil producing republic. Mark Goring is on the live this morning. When Mark watching your program, Mark Goring, you know you're big, you know your meat, you know your land. Mark Goring is the vice chairman of Region 10, and he has specific responsibility for the sub-region of Kokwani and some of those other outlying areas. Mark know these areas at the back of your hand. You could blindfold him and you carry him through, say, here, I did by the Sawyer place now, I did by Ibini, I did by Bamia, I did by Kimbia, darkest of nights. You're on the light this morning. No doubt, watching us from one of those far-flung places. Watching us from one of those far-flung places. No doubt. In this press conference yesterday, right, Vikram Bharat, once in a lifetime press conference, the Petroleum Commission that should be giving, right, should be giving oversight to the Petroleum Commission, oversight to the oil and gas industry rather. In my mind, that's why I'm confused myself. As I'm talking in my mind, I'm working out the grammatical structure. Is giving in this sentence a gerund? Is it a verb? Oh, I'm confusing myself. Right? Confusing myself. But the verb should be giving oversight to the oil sector. This fellow is saying it will slow down the sector. Elizabeth Narain, watching us from South Carolina, Sparkle City, it would slow down the thievery, the scampery. A whole minister said, you see, when you have these once-in-a-lifetime press conferences, the way the Ministry of Natural Resource had yesterday, you're prone to say a lot of nonsense. The oversight body would slow down because they would have to answer questions. I see MP Natasha Singh Lewis on the live this morning. MP Natasha. I know there's a new surname now. Help me out there, man. Help your boy. On the live this morning, you would slow down the sector. Right? It's like saying, we don't need a police force. That would slow down traffic. It would slow down movement. We don't need a... See, we don't need an ERC. We don't need an integrity commission that said that I owe them some paperwork. Let's watch and smile. We don't need that. They will slow down things. So in responding to criticisms that 4 years in, you don't have a petroleum commission as yet. Folks, welcome around the breakfast table. It would slow down operations. That a whole minister would conceptualize that. To say it, to proffer it. The escortation minister. The common courtesy minister. Sweet boy minister. Now he would say that. It's fascinating. The oversight body. It's like saying the Natural Resource Fund Board would slow down. Why you need that? Right? Just let Exxon directly deposit the money in the consolidated fund. I could see Alistair Rutledge. Somebody calling me, folks. The phone vibrating the desk. Rat-a-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. You know, clearly they don't know I got a morning show on. Clearly, somebody ringing. And they can vex at you, you know. I tried calling you, MP. I can't get you in the morning. That's what they would say. Vikram of the Bharat clan. What else you want here? Well, is it you calling, Diane? St. Romain? Trace, is you? Ashley, is you? Calling the phone? Is it? Is it? Is it? Final, these trade unions slowing down Kaisuko. Why Kaisuko need a board? Huh? Slow down operations. This is fascinating to me. Alright? When you... Natasha says Vikram calling is true. I want you on the live. If you send me a message I would call back. Get in on the live. Natasha says it's Vikram calling. Vikram calling. Put in on the live. I got a couple questions myself. Right? Well, that's Margaret said tell them to leave a voice note. If you don't get me, you call, you don't get me, send a message. I call you back. You know, say urgent. Lead off with urgent if it's urgent. I call you right back. Let me go, says Vikram calling. O'Neill Vanessa, Janet says, is she calling? Janet O'Neill, he says she calling. Look at this headline. Look at this headline here. Right? I-Flood Sugar Estate to receive excavator to conduct critical works. Now, when I see a headline like this and I read the story, I don't vex, you know. That's like people hiring you and saying, you see on the company blog, Duncan to receive office chair to do work. Right? In the sugar industry, I would expect there excavators for drainage and irrigation, and in lots of these communities where these estates are found, they play a critical role because of the use and spans of real estate that the estates take up. Drainage and irrigation is done. You don't intend to wake up and see excavator to be given to I-Flood Sugar Estate. You were thinking the work program for the year, for the quarter, first crop, second crop. In the work plan, excavators needed. We can need 2 wheelbarrow, 3 cutlasses. Some people say cutlish. Whatever you prefer pronunciation, cutlass, cutlish. You're gonna need 2. You're gonna need a file, you know, the sharp, wherever the sharpening cutlass. You're gonna need a bun. That's the next headline you're gonna see, right? I-Flood Estate to receive punt to move the sugarcane from field to factory. This is the whole headline, you know. I wouldn't see the handover. I-Flood Sugar Estate to receive excavator. To receive excavator. Miss Gulliver says square pegs in round hole. What a waste of a headline. And this is signifying progress. Oh, transformational. Transformational. So I want licks on the all foot bottom, you know. Wasting the guy needs people time. Wasting. Transformational. I-Flood to receive excavator. You know what would be a good headline here? You know it's a good thing I-Flood could work towards? Meeting the targets. Not the thrice reduced, revised targets. Meeting the targets. That makes some good headlines. You know what makes some good headlines in the sugar industry? Profitability. Sugar has returned to profitability. And you start weaning them now off of breast milk. Weaning them now off of the public coffers. That makes some good headlines. They are to receive excavator. So you got to put a mala on somebody now. Yeah, put a rosary in somebody's neck now. Look at this other one we saw. Interesting. Commissioner Hickens distribute school supplies to police rank. And then you make people line up for photograph. You know, in and of itself, it's a good gesture. In and of itself. Diane Mark Rastaman. Right? It's a good gesture. Look how many ranks you got here. You got about 150, 200 persons, maybe. You know, we ain't got with the maths. I ain't got to have my glasses neither. They're close by. In and of itself, it's not a bad gesture. But if you pay people well, I ain't got to get a handout. I can afford my own school supply. No other part of the world do you see this. You know why Hickens got to do this? He may got a little soft spot. Huh? Hickens? Put in a word for you there, boy. May got a little soft. I don't know. Hickens is a man of devout faith. He's a devotee. Very devout in his religious belief. He might mean well, but Hickens know how things tight in this country. He knows where the salaries are for policemen and women. That'll make a better headline. Commissioner of Police advocates for higher salaries for ranks. That'll make a good headline. Pay people well, so you don't need handouts, you don't need box of cook up on 5,000. Pay people well. Handout. I want to buy my own damn supplies for my children. Buy my own supplies. You have to know, this is your work program. I wonder who get the books this term here. I wonder what the police going to do. I wonder when a little 10,000 from government coming in. That's how you got to add it up. If the police get 3 books, government give a pencil, somebody, I could send the child to school. Pay people well. Pay people well. There should be people who fall through the cracks. The police force got a program, right? You can fill up a little form and you submit it quietly. Right? You fall a little hard times, they got a little support they could offer. You know how? But it's permanent hard times in this country. You got these programs. Something happens. You fall a little hard times as an employee and so you could tuck in a request and need some help. And very quietly, somebody, you get a little, what do you call here? School supplies or your box of cook up or your 5,000. But if you pay people well, you see, people become independent. Right? Elizabeth on the live here. Margaret on the live. Margaret is now retired, pulling in her $1 million in pensions and so on. She and Rio. Right? Lots of you on the live here. And you know where you work. You ain't got nothing like this here. You ain't waiting for you employees. You take this little book and pencil for them children. Now they're going back to school. Because you are remunerated well. You could buy your school supplies, put up something for a rainy day, plug little money in credit union, put aside your car payment, your mortgage, your installment for your mortgage and so on. Live comfortable, go on a vacation. Comfortable. You could do that. Things tough in this country. Rough and tough. We want to be honest. You know, to go on vacation next year, you start saving since 2022. You're throwing box hand. You're doing this, you're doing that. We got to pay people well, man. Pay people well. And let people buy their own supplies. I'm not saying people don't give. And you don't have programs like this in other places. Right? But you don't have to sit and calculate. This is how I can send them children off. Right? People fighting now. When the example come in? Huh? Architect next Next year, school supply in advance. And I'm saying it's a good program in and of itself. But this is how Guyanese get by. It's Hamper Nation. It's a good program in and of itself. But I'm making the larger point. You pay people well. They can buy their own supplies. Please and thank you. Yeah, that's the point I'm making. The larger point. Look at this. Third case in point. Third case in point. Over 300 East Coast residents receive social services. You see? Over 300 residents. The minister had to set up a program to go to the people for them to get their social services. 4 years in government. Folks, Guangzhou, call a province in China. You call a province. Got 30 million people. 1 town, 1 city. 30 million people. How they do social services? How they provide social services? 30 million, of which, let's say in an average city, you got 10 million are elderly people. How do they provide social services? We got a country with about 10 away. And you tell me the system at the ministry level is so taxed and overburdened, people can't get services in the system. You got to come out of the system, right? To give people social services. That is why I keep asking the question, we're working in Guyana. Systems do not work. And the ministers don't want to work. Because if you don't run in Better Hope, if you don't run in and more, how can you get your mala? How can you get your photo up? How? That is what it's about. If you got to go in the streets to give the social services, the system is not working. And clearly you don't intend to fix it if 4 years in, 27 years in power, this is how people got to receive social services. And maybe it's been because we have not been accustomed to anything else. You say, hey boy, them boys working. Hey boy, them boys working. And my analogy is simple. In front of me, I got a keyboard. And in front of me, I got a monitor. The monitor is the government. Me and care what happening at the back. When I press something here, something must happen. When you press something on the keyboard, a corresponding action must happen in the background. But if that don't work in, I got to go behind there and see plug latch like a big back TV. This system in this country don't work. You know how the people lash it? You see them on Facebook. Oh, the water dirty. It's lash the big back TV government. They're trying to lash it, you know. It's an analog government in a digital age. People talk about the water. Oh God, I got blackout again. It's lash. They're lashing the TV back. Trying to make it work. Right? Beating the back of the big back TV. System is not working. Right? System is not working. If systems work, you have a cash grant, cha-ching, a deposit in your account. But how many sing a shamala? You got NIS to get? It's calculated correctly, deposited in your account. You see? But the system don't work. Look, I saw Dr. Melissa Eiffel on social media. I think it was yesterday, if not the day before. Said she went into trying to call the institution. She went into GRA to update her license. She said 50 minutes. Bap, bap, she was out. Congrats, GRA. Under 50 minutes, she was out. Under 50 minutes. In, out. She said best service she has received in or outside Guyana. I want to do that to the bank. We're just over 9 o'clock. Some people in the bank since 8, they haven't even tell yet. Some people in the bank, all the banks, since 8, they haven't even tell yet. And they don't know in the mind it's about 10:30 before they get up there. But change the PIN, for update that address. Right? It's not that you sending money to 5 different countries. You know, you get 10 different sets of foreign currency to change. It's not no complex. You're going to change your PIN 3 hours in the line. We got to overhaul the systems in this country. Now, if I don't want to do that, he don't talk about Bitcoin and start getting himself in problems. Right? We could barely provide clean water in the taps in the national capital city. He got to talk about Bitcoin and AI and so on. Let me fix the 5 systems we got 50 odd years later after independence that we're struggling with to service 15 people. Let me try to fix them couple things. Over 300 East Coast residents receive social services 4 years after. People struggling. People, how the minister could be effective like that? At broader policy level. If you got to talk to 300 people an afternoon, you can't go to work the next day. 8 o'clock. You can't. That can be an effective way in which you conduct government business. Long term, let's go to a photo. Forget your mala, forget your headline. Don't come around with you funny like that. Don't do it. You're born and the lal. Says the Chica must hire staff with integrity instead of implementing biometrics. This is fascinating. So don't let us put a system that works for us. Let's rely on the human factor. Like a Nandalal. What we need is more Nandalals. Right? People of high integrity. Don't let's rely on systems. Right? That can function, what is the word? Independently, without judgment, whether you're black or white, pink or green, whether you support APNU, AFC, whether you support PPP, but people of integrity. Same Nandalal, then we hear a video, audio recording, solicitations about a gyal and all kinds of story. Same Nandalal, who the Caribbean Court of Justice says brought its administration of justice, its entire administration of justice into disrepute. People of integrity. We don't need biometrics. We don't need computerized systems that tell us this is not John Joe, this is not Gomati, this is Rajpal, this is Shorish Bali. We don't need that. All we need is people of integrity. That's all we need. Like the current chair, like the current chief elections officer. and others. That's all we need. We need no biometrics. We don't need that. People of integrity will do it for us. And that's what the fella said. As we wrap up, guys. As we wrap up. Your boy Rohi jump in. This is instructive. He said the word up new and AFC. But all of these need for different changes and so on. Clean voters, listen online. He said we have a lot of measures, right, yet to be implemented, yet to be put in place. That will help us in the next election to avoid fraud, to avoid electoral fraud. Several measures yet to be put in place. That will help we. So the measures we ain't put in place yet, they're the ones are going to allow for free and fair elections. People with integrity, not biometrics, that every other country on the globe uses. People of integrity, of the Nandalal caliber, them kind of people. We have measures to ensure the guard against electoral fraud. Right? We ain't in a hurry to put them in place yet. And some of these very measures is biometrics, you know. But Nandalal saying no biometrics. Roy saying biometrics. Bare confusion. Bare confusion. Garbage in the city. Perennial problem. I wish that City Hall would sit down with central government. Perhaps it's the other way around, really and truly, because City Hall has been very willing. It's central government that has been very obdurate, undermining the council. Something should be apolitical. Management of the city, national capital city. See, Ali said they're going to now hire contractors to do their own garbage removal and so on. Sparing no effort to undermine the city. None. And of course, the chorus is growing louder and louder. They can say now, City Hall responsible for water now. Everything is City Hall. Garbage is City Hall. Oh, is we managing the water sector? City Hall used to. Days gone by, City Hall had purview for water in the city. Eons ago. This is now central government responsibility. That the shirking, that says mud in the line, silt and soot in the lines, and what are you receiving? What's interesting here? I saw Councillor Jacobs. I saw Councillor what's his name? Alfonso. All write letters to the press about I think garbage and other issues in the city. I would like to see some letters from them on the quality of the water. Don't be one-sided, Alfonso. Don't be one-sided, Mr. Jacobs. Where is your angst? Where is your anger on the quality of water the citizens of Georgetown that you represent? Where are those letters? Right? So we can use out City Hall in one instance, but central government get a free pass. These very citizens you represent, Alfonso and Jacobs, the very citizens, we all there now. Roll out now with your letters. Over to you all. Over to you all. Over to you guys. No doubt hard-working councillors like the others, hard at work with your letter writing and so on. Come on now. This is a equal public health issue. Right? What GWA is telling us is that filth from the trench getting in the water system. That's not being filtered out. So you know in there, you can get Bigfoot, chigger, leptospirosis, chickenpox, smallpox, chikungunya, you name it. All in the water there. We got to fix that too. We got to fix that too. COVID and residents. Up in arms against, again, they're trying to push this waste treatment plant down the throats of the COVID and resident. Even in this morning's paper, one particular resident said, when did this consultation happen? When was the environmental impact assessment done? Who okayed this project for COVID then? Just some of the things we're tracking this morning, folks. The first 15 on this Thursday, the 15th day of August. Mid-month, folks. Nice time for some of you watching that pay date there. Watching that fortnightly pay coming tomorrow. You know? We're happy to be here with you folks each and every morning during the course of the week. Vashti, Magnot, Rupert, Augustus, Levigo, Mark, Everett, Leonard. They can vex me today. But we got to keep them honest. Keep the foot to the fire. Osmond Hodge, Levigo, and all the others. And a privilege being here with you yet another morning. Folks, go ahead and have a fantastic day. Go ahead and have a fantastic Waveney, Sheila Boy Child, Pim Pim, and all the other folks. I'm heading to do some errands, folks. Yeah. More work. Auntie Sandra, good to see you on the live. Michelle and Lucille, Edward, and all the other folks who stopped by this morning. Over 1,000 of you. Oh, we're so privileged. You all be careful. You're traveling today. You're moving around. Hope you don't get no escortation. No talks about development. The courtesies that were extended to Vikram. You all stay clear of that. Time will tell. Rihanna Mingo, Jacqueline, Claire Alexis, Charmley. Good to have all of you. Gwyneth, have a fantastic day, folks. That's our time. And that's our program. We're going to see you guys back